Namaste, my friend. Welcome to this slow movement, slow meditation movement through grief. So, welcome to a seated position. You can also lay down just for the beginning. And then when we start moving, it's better if you sit. You can sit on a chair if cross-legged doesn't work for you. So, circle your arms around you. Gather all the energy between your hands, high above your head. Make your hand palms touch if you can. Inhale here. Exhale, lower your hands to your forehead center, your thumbs between your eyebrows. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and lower your hands to your heart. And then you can relax your hands to your lap. You can have your eyes downcast or closed, or even just soften your gaze for a few moments. So take a few moments of acknowledging where you are, how you're feeling, how your body feels. And the intention of this practice is not to evoke any stronger emotions than you already have. So just really move gently and notice what's there. And if it feels like too much, then please just back off and maybe take a break, take a moment to journal. But if you feel like you want to kind of be with me in this, then I just want to acknowledge that a lot of the emotions we have in grief, and maybe in other areas of life as well, but in grief especially, the emotions are quite strong, and it can be a little bit isolating to be in grief. And it might be difficult to integrate that into the rest of the world. So the intention of this practice is to make you feel understood and seen. Because I've noticed that when our emotions and our state of being is acknowledged, then not that it does make it go away, but it does somehow heal and help a little bit. So in this practice together, you and I, we acknowledge how you're feeling, and we acknowledge the energy levels that you have, the things that you've gone through. And take a deep breath in of acceptance. And that doesn't mean that it's okay. Accepting doesn't mean anything else than here's how it is. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart space soften. Let your mat and this moment be a soft place where you land. Another deep breath in. Exhale. And so if you like with me, as you notice how you're feeling, acknowledge maybe there's some parts of your body that feel achy or sore when you think about grief and sorrow and loss. And so you might not want to, how can I say, make that wrong or start moving abruptly. Let's just hold the space for ourselves. Maybe you want to make little soft circles with your rib cage. And then let your breathing happen naturally as you investigate what this feels like in your body. So you're being really kind with yourself, with the sensations that you're having, especially if there is recent grief. The body can be really almost like sore. So any of the movements that I suggest, if it doesn't feel right, just stay with your own sensations and don't force yourself to do anything that I suggest. But if it feels good, you can start making circles, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit smaller with your heart space. And as I said earlier, we just need the emotions and our life situation to be witnessed. So see if you can witness how your breath moves, how your body feels, and not make it wrong, not needing to justify it. Just gently hold yourself as you feel what you feel, as you navigate life. Life is long, grief is long, and it does change and shift. And sometimes it's more intense. I feel like you can now switch directions if you're still with me. Right? So sometimes we have stronger waves of grief, and sometimes they're softer. And whatever it is okay. It's part of this whole spectrum of life, whole spectrum of human experience. And we can hold it, we can be in it. And it does change who we are, but typically towards the better, especially because you're willing to not make these emotions wrong. Your experience is not wrong. It is what it is. So let this practice be a soft place to land. And if you like, you can make your circles now smaller and smaller and smaller. And come towards center, roll your shoulders to your ears. Maybe lower your gaze. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Notice if you like. Notice if that shifted your body sensations, the pace of your thoughts, your mood in any way. Nice work. Thank you for acknowledging and being real with yourself. And so our next movement is cat-cow seated. So we're always working with the heart space. And according to traditional Chinese medicine and probably other systems as well, the heart and the lungs, actually, the lungs are associated with grief. So this, and also like we know the idea of a broken heart. So if you are navigating strong emotions of grief, maybe this might not be something you want to do. Maybe you want to lay down instead and maybe put your hands on your heart instead. But if you want, if it feels right, you can gently bring your heart forwards and backwards. Slowly, slowly forwards and backwards, if that feels like an okay thing to do with your body. So we're inviting in a little bit of movement while we hold our own experience, right? While you hold yourself kindly, it's okay to have the feelings you have, and the feelings won't eat you up. They're waves of life. It means you have loved. It means you're alive. So slowly, like a wave, you bring your heart space forward and backwards. And if your hips start to tire, you can sit on a chair and do this. If cross-legged doesn't feel good. A few more rounds. Don't go to the edge. Don't look for the edge. Just gently bringing, kind of like you would be cradling a baby. That's the vibe I'd want you to bring into these movements. Your heart doesn't need to be forced into anything. Nice. If it feels okay, you can now let go of the movement. Again, roll your shoulders to your ears, make your heart space open. Take a few moments here and notice if that landed well in your system. If you can still feel the movement lingering in your body. And if so, notice where in your body. The sensations in your torso. Is it deep inside or towards the outside? or maybe outside of your body. Any sensations, any tingling, maybe there's an ache, that's okay. You can hold it. It will heal. Next movement, because we've been seated for a while, we'll do a little bit of hip movement. So I'm going to sit sideways on my mat, my feet on the mat and my knees pointing up. And then I'll do super slow windshield wipers. So if you're seated on a chair, you might stand up and just kind of like rotate your hips one way and the other. Or if you have a yoga mat or sitting on the floor, look at my little healer licking my feet. He's my little helper today. We're sending you good vibes as you navigate and bravely go through life. So now you can do just one at a time if that feels like a good idea. So right knee opens, left knee joins, and then opens. Kind of like a butterfly windshield wiper. If that feels good, maybe you want to extend your legs and shake your knees a little bit, and maybe you want to come back to it. I like to have my feet wide apart. And notice where you feel this movement. I feel it even in my low back. That feels good to me. Notice where you feel it, what you find in your body. So remember how I said in the beginning that when our emotions and our states of being are acknowledged, then that somehow feels like it's worth being alive, So be kind and be curious. That's all you need to be through this whole practice, this whole training, really, is to be curious. Then if you feel like that was enough, you can now straighten your legs, shake your knees a little bit. And then if it feels like a good idea, we can take a tabletop from here. So my fingers are pointing towards my feet. And again, like kind of like a little bit wider than my shoulder distance. Then my feet are also kind of wider than my hips. And then I'll lift my hips super gently into a tabletop, and you can look straight up if your neck is happy. If not, you look towards your feet and breathe here. And this can be quite strong. So if it doesn't feel right, you let go of it, or maybe you take a break. Deep breath in. Exhale. Notice where you feel it in your body. Notice if your body wants to do it again, or if it's just your mind. If your body wants to do it again, then you lift your hips again and you take a few moments here. Notice where you feel it, maybe opening in your shoulders, maybe in your heart space. Breathe. Stay as long as it feels like a good idea. And then slowly put your hips back down. Let go of it. Maybe you want to shake your shoulders a little bit. Bring your head from side to side. Kind of undo the twist in your wrists, but circling your hands, making big circles with your hands. And then we'll do one more time if that feels good for you. If not, you can sit and just notice how you're feeling. Acknowledge your emotions, your sensations. There's no judgments here, right? We do whatever feels right, what it feels good. And then if it feels like a good idea, you can do one more tabletop. I noticed for me, it feels better to look towards my thighs. Breathe. And then when you feel ready, you let go, put your hips back down onto the floor, make circles with your ankles, with your knees, or windshield wipers, and then circles with your wrists. your shoulders, your head, slowly, to undo any pressure that we put on the joints. Nice work. Now notice how you feel. If you feel that you'd want to meditate or journal at any time, feel free to take out your journal and a pen and be an inquiry around what you feel. Maybe it's just words, bullet points, to acknowledge what is there for you. And if you would want to keep doing some yoga poses with me, then our next pose is a super gentle puppy pose. And you might not want to do this if it feels, you could visit it like gently, or you could have a bolster on your mat and put your chest on the bolster and just kind of like be in that space without forcing your body. That's really important to me, that you're kind to your body, because your heart space could be a little bit sore, and we don't want to look for the edge. We're not looking to expand any comfort zones here. We really are just holding the body. So you could start in all fours and then slowly bring your hands forward, walking your hands away, and then keeping your hips up. You could start lowering your chest. And here's where you could put a bolster between your hands and put your forehead on it to not go too deep. But if it does feel like you want to go into a puppy pose, then you can relax your forehead. You can make the pillow with your hands, and then let your heart sink down into a puppy pose. And notice what you feel and where you feel it. Back off at any time if it feels like your heart is not loving this. If your shoulders are tight, you can widen your hands. And then if you can, you soften the back of your heart with your breath. Soften the sides of your heart and the front. And so I do realize this is quite an intense pose. So you might want to just adapt and come to your forearms instead. And it's all good. We're just holding our body in this type of poses. We're not looking for the edge. We're not looking to increase our mobility or flexibility. This practice is about just holding your experience the way it is, not judging it, just acknowledging it. So you soften as much as you can with your breath, with your kindness. So really, this is also a practice of self-compassion. Notice if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, please back off. At any time, you can come out of the pose. But if it feels like a soft place to be, allow yourself gently to soften, breathe, acknowledge what is there. If your body feels sore or aching for whatever reason, then you could decide to not do this pose or adapt, kind of back off a little bit. And then we will all slowly but surely make our way to all fours. Maybe a cat-cow would feel like a good idea here. And then we'll come into a child's pose. If your knees are sensitive, put a bolster between your thighs and your calves. And if you like, bring your toes to touch and widen your knees, and then kind of sit down onto your heels. Or if you don't want to do the wide version, you can bring your knees together, your thighs together, and then just forward fold. Maybe have a pillow for your head if your head doesn't land on the mat. Whichever version feels like you want to try that pose today. Then you start making your way into the pose. And again, be in inquiry if it feels like a soft place to land. Maybe even here you want to adapt. In your child's pose, you can stay on your forearms. It's totally perfectly fine. We're not looking, let's say this is not a flexibility sequence. This is a sequence that just wants to acknowledge and hold you. So together we just hold our experience. So if it feels like a good idea, you take the pose, you put your head on a pillow, or you stay on your forearms. And then breathe and see if you can allow your shoulders and your jaw to soften and your hips to soften in your child's pose. If you can let life unfold the way it does as you hold your own experience, like a grounded kind of presence, like the witness awareness in you compassionately holds your body, your struggles, your heartache, your kindness, all of it is being held, witnessed, is being seen, not judged, not evaluated. This is like the zone where you just get to be, where you just get to gently, softly land. Can you make your practice a place where you are allowed to softly just land? Just be, breathe, and maybe curiously learn something. And maybe the learning doesn't happen in this moment as you navigate things. Maybe it happens later. But right now, you're in a soft place of acceptance and kindness, a place of compassion. If you need to adjust because any part of your body does not love it, you could, if you haven't already, put your knees together and then put your belly on your thighs, and maybe there's a pillow where you put your forehead, or you can completely come out of it. If it feels like you still want to stay just for another little moment, let the moment linger, this pose, let it soften you. And slowly, when you are ready, maybe you keep your eyes closed. With helping hands, you come to seated. Our last little suggestion, if you like, and again, only if your body and your mind wants to go there, could be a little twist. So I'm going to be seated on my shins with my knees together, but you can do this in any pose. If you're on a chair, you can sit on a chair. And if you like cross-legged, you can do cross-legged, or you can lay down and do this laying down. So I'm gently going to put one hand behind me and the other hand on the opposite, kind of outside of my knee. I'll inhale just to make sure that my heart is leading me to lift up. And then gently I'll start twisting with my head first, looking over to the side, and then maybe even towards kind of diagonally behind me, but don't go anywhere extreme. Just a gentle little twist for your side body if it feels good in your heart and in your body. If it doesn't, you could just do a side stretch if that feels good. So you decide, you're the one who holds the experience. You're the one who's right about all of this. You know how to hold you. You know how to navigate this, even if it's all new. Yeah, your curiosity leads the way. When it's time, you come back to center. And then you start traveling towards the other side. Inhale as you lengthen a little bit to make your heart lead. And then slowly you start looking towards where you might be twisting. So just a gentle opening. Again, if this doesn't feel right, you can do a side body stretch. And even there, you're not going to extremes, just a little gentle suggestion, a little bit of ease for the body as we navigate life. See if you can relax your shoulders, your jaw. Again, we're not going into any extremes, just a gentle little twist. Then come back to center. Notice if your body wants to move, maybe make another circle with your heart, with your head, with your jaw, opening your mouth, fingers, just kind of like a little body scan and noticing how you are doing. Now, you can take a Shavasana in any way that you like. You could do it side body, laying just down on kind of fetal position, maybe hugging a pillow, or you can do it seated. If you want, you can lean against something, or you can do cross-legged, or just lay down onto your bed or on a couch on your yoga mat. Just make sure you're warm and cozy. And when you are ready to lay down and really just let go of it all, I'll guide you through a gentle little blessing exercise. So as you relax into your Shavasana in whatever shape you chose to go into, take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Allow yourself to land in your body into this soft place that your practice is. One more like that. Deep breath in. Exhale. Let go of any tension in any part of your body, any having to do anything. Then invite in energy as you inhale through the kind of the soles of your feet, underneath the ball of your foot. There's kind of like an energetic, almost like a chakra, some might say, an energetic point. You can inhale through that part of the soles of your feet as the blessing arrives into your body, through your legs, hitting your knees, hips, belly, heart, throat, forehead, and out through the crown of your head. And then you exhale whenever that feels right. And you bring a blessing from the crown of your head, traveling through your shoulders, your heart, your belly, hips, knees, out through the soles of your feet. So as you inhale a few times intentionally, invite in a blessing. Maybe it's a sequence of stars or a pillar of light. And as you exhale, bring it from the crown and above the crown of your head through your body, hitting all the sweet spots of your body out through the soles of your feet. Do this as many times as it feels easy and effortless. And then let yourself let go of the exercise, of the blessings, let go of the breathing. Take a few moments in almost like this empty, soft cloud that you become. Your body's floating in a space. Maybe there's energy around you. Maybe it's love that holds you, holds your body. The space around your body, your yoga mat, the space you're in is filled with this fluffy, gentle, soft energy of awareness, of acceptance, of kindness. Kind of like the sweet spot takes this energetic shape in your body, in the space immediately around your body. And it fills up the room you're in, the building you're in, and it blesses the earth that your building is on. It blesses the sky that is above it. And you're at the center of it, being held, loved, accepted just as you are. As you navigate life, you're a pulsating, beautiful being in the middle of it all. Let that land in your body, in your consciousness. You are held, you are loved, you're acknowledged, you're not alone. There's a part of you that can never be, how can I say, impacted by the challenges. Let this feeling linger in your body as you softly come back into your soft body. Notice the softness of the energy that you created in your body as a result of being in this practice, as a result of being with yourself kindly. Notice your toes, the soles of your feet, the surface below you, the awareness between your eyebrows. In your own way and in your own time, make your way back to seated. Maybe your eyes remain closed. Once you've found a seated position, you can circle your arms around your body, kind of like an acknowledgement and gathering of all the softness and the beautiful energy you experienced and witnessed. Bring your hand palms to touch if you can. Inhale. And exhale, bring this energy with your hands toward your forehead center, your thumbs between your eyebrows as you exhale. Then inhale again. Bring in that energy, condensed, like you're acknowledging it. And exhale, lower your hands to your heart space, expand this energy towards your heart and all of your body as you exhale. One more deep breath in. Exhale through your heart. To you and your practice, I bow and say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing and for being curious about your own journey. Namaste, my friend. Namaste. Namaste from Luz as well.